Howdy YouTube, I'm back, and we have another episode of A Day in the Life of an IT Guy. I ran into a problem with I always keep a physical machine at my client locations that I have access to outside of the firewall. I bypass it, go around it, I do some special stuff to make sure I can always get in remotely to a system. And I'm having some trouble with one of my client machines. That every time I was loading a piece of backup software on it, was locking up the machine. And I've had this problem with this machine before and traded some stuff out, and then I got busy with other things and never came back to it. Today I want to come back to it and show you what I'm going to do to try and clear up software on that machine. I'm going to move some software that I use in my daily work over to a virtual machine. The customer had a Windows 2012 R2 server. We just upgraded from 16 to 32 megabytes of RAM, or gigabyte of RAM, and they wanted to, because we wanted to put some more virtual machines out there, we're running out of RAM. So I've created a new virtual machine out on one of those hypervisors to handle the tasks that I'm going to be moving over there, and that's what this video is about today. So buckle up and we'll get the video started. So here's my dilemma. Right now I've got Lansweeper, I've got Spiceworks, and I've got Tonedo installed on this. This is a physical machine this is my IT machine, the machine I log into and do my work on at a client site. So I want to get all of these little web-based applications off of my machine, because I do reboots quite a bit and try new software, and I want to move all these over to a new location, to a virtual machine that I've created on the Hyper-V server. Now this virtual machine is only running Windows 7, but it's running on Windows 7 64-bit, and I just do that because I find it simpler, less resources, etc. Just my personal preference. I know these apps will run well under Windows 7, but I want them off of my physical IT machine and onto a virtual machine. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to take you through the steps that are required to do that. Again, this is not a step-by-step tutorial, but this is how I did it and the instructions I followed. Okay, the first thing they want you to do is to install the same version of Lansweeper you're running on the other machine onto the new machine. So I've done that. I've done an install of Lansweeper, and it's up and running here. So this is my actual virtual Windows 7 machine. We'll come over here. You'll see it's running a 64-bit operating system. Windows 7 64-bit. So now the next thing to do is follow these instructions. So the first thing I want you to do is, I'm using the SQL Compact. So the first thing you want me to do is go into Windows Services, and they want me to stop the Lansweeper server and the IIS Express service. So let's do that first. We'll come here to Services. So the first one they want us to stop is the Lansweeper. So we'll go ahead and stop that. And then the IIS Express service. They want us to stop that as well. So if I come back to my instructions, I've done that. Now what it wants me to do is create a copy of my SQL Compact database file, which is located here. And if you add any documents, images, or widgets, you want to back up these files as well. So let's go back onto my IT machine, and it said to go under Lansweeper, SQL Data Lansweeper. Okay, let's see if I can't figure that out. Now that I'll minimize this, go to my PC, go to Lansweeper, and here's my SQL data right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this folder, and I'm going to copy it out to my applications. I've already done this once before, but I'm just going to take you with me. So we'll do paste. Okay. You see I've done it before on the 6th. There's my Lansweeper database. So not to get them confused, I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to delete this one. There we go. And now we'll come back over to our C drive, program files x86, Lansweeper. And let's see, I think the other thing they said to copy was everything under website. So let's just go back and check. Let's see, yeah, it says if you add any documents, back up these files, the easiest solution would be simply create a copy of all subfolders located in website. Okay, so we come back to that machine. We go to website, which is where we are already. It says to copy all of these folders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the whole darn thing. Hopefully it won't take too terrible long. Now we're dealing with several small files, that's why you see these kind of abysmal speeds. They're not really abysmal, but they appear to be. Alright, so now all of those subfolders are there. I don't need to worry about any of these files at all here. These are all script files, ASPX files. So now that I've done that, now what I want to do, okay, restart the Lansweeper and web services in Windows services. Well, I'm going to leave them disabled. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here and I'm going to restore my backup of the new Lansweeper installation by following the steps in this knowledge base article. So I'm going to open that in a new tab. So now what I'm going to do is go out to the new server that's going to house all this and type in services, and I want to stop the Lansweeper and the IIS Express on this one as well. Alright, so stop the Lansweeper service first. Stop the IIS second. Alright, and then I want to go back to my apps folder. Go down to Lansweeper. And the first one I'm going to copy is this. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to tell it copy. Come over here to Lansweeper and I'm going to paste it, and yes, I'm going to replace it. Copy and replace, continue. Okay, and now I'm going to come over here to website. Well, first I'm going to come down here to Lansweeper backups. Alright, go to website, and then I'm going to copy. I'm only going to select the folders. I'm not going to select the files under the folders, only the folders. I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to paste those to Lansweeper, to the website, and I'm going to tell it paste. And I'm going to do yes, so I'm going to override them or merge them. I'm going to copy and replace. Now it says it's going to take about 55 minutes to do this. I don't buy that. That's what you would call Microsoft time. But I'm going to pause it. I'm going to pause the video here and let it continue to do its thing. All right, so everything's copied. So we're going to close that window. Let's come back here. Let's see. Restore, restart. Okay, restore the website folders and the encryption text. And then restart the Lansweeper and web services. So we'll go over to back over to the help desk, come back to services. We'll restart the Lansweeper service. Sorry, it was right there, wasn't it? Yeah. So we can start that. And then we'll start the IIS Express service. And then if we were successful, we should be able to double click here on Lansweeper, get in and see all of our assets. We hope. Okay, well that's a good sign. And we may get an error that we've moved or that we've exceeded our 100 device, 100 assets. But it is coming up, and it looks like everything is there. That's all good. That's a good sign. Yep, and it looks like all our devices are there. I'm going to get rid of the one that is causing this to exceed the license count. Alright, so now we should be good. If we go back to assets again, we should be golden and good to go. Beautiful. Alright, so we will consider the Lansweeper a success. That has now been moved. So now what I need to do is go back to the other machine, and actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Control Panel, and I'm going to go to Lansweeper, and I'm going to remove that or uninstall it. Yes, please. And of course they want 100 reasons why you're, removing the Lansweeper. Okay. See, they even come back and say, please don't leave us. Now, I also don't need any of these compatibility databases anymore. Nor do I need the IIS Express, so I can uninstall that. And if it was a Lansweeper should have removed all that stuff automatically. It's just my opinion, but for whatever reason it didn't. So if you're having that issue, make sure I don't know that it creates any problems leaving it there, but you don't need it there, you don't need it there. Alright, so the next thing that I want to move is my Spiceworks system over to that new virtual machine. So what I've done is under Spiceworks, I have come here to Settings, Global Settings, and then this is the backup section. And you notice I haven't done a backup on this thing since 2016. I'm an awful, horrible IT person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the backup location, and I'm going to change that to Z:/Spiceworks backup. Oh, couldn't write. Okay, so I'm going to have to create that. Let's see if we've got a Z Spiceworks out here. Let's see, Spiceworks backup. Spiceworks, okay. Well, let's do this a little. Let's do it. Let's do a folder called SWB. SWB. Okay, so now let's try this again. C:/force SWB. Nope. Couldn't write to the specified directory. That's fine. We will create it on the C drive and we'll move it manually. C, let's do SWB. Yeah, okay. And let's do a backup now. Well, did it do anything? Did you see it back up? Okay, well, I'm assuming it's running. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it finally changed, 11/3/2017. So let's go and let's look at SWB on my C drive. And there it is. So I'm going to copy this. I don't know why it wouldn't allow me to do it earlier. Worked that time, didn't it? Okay, so we've done that. So the next step is to install Spiceworks on the new machine. Download and run Spiceworks on the new machine. Try to install the same directory and use the same port. And stop Spiceworks, then we're going to transfer our data. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log off of Spiceworks here. Okay, we're going to come on to our help desk machine. There's probably already a Spiceworks out there. They look to be the same. So I'm going to run the one I originally downloaded. This one. I like to put all my network tools and everything like that on their own little virtual server so that I'm not bothered by them running on my actual production machine at a client site. This way, if I need to reboot my machine for whatever reason, I don't have to worry about the help desk going down and the scanning of the PCs, etc. It just makes life just a little bit easier. Alright, we do not want to start Spiceworks now, but we're going to go ahead and install a desktop shortcut. So I'll continue on there. I'm going to close this. Let's just make sure Spiceworks is not up and running. Come over here to our services. Even though we told it not to run, sometimes it will start up that service, and it has not. It's not started. As you can see right there, we have the option, which is good. Now I want to go out to my C drive on the machine I'm moving Spiceworks to, and there should be a data and a DB directory, and both of those need to be deleted. According to the instructions, it says navigate the Spiceworks directory on the new installation and delete the data and DB folders. So that's what we're going to do. Now what we want to do is transfer our backup to our new installation. So we'll find the file we created and extract the data and DB folders and then we'll move those folders in the new Spiceworks installation folder. And then when we start up Spiceworks next, our old database will be waiting for us. So let's go out to our SWB folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract all right here into a folder of its own. And don't be alarmed if it tells you it's not responding. It does this sometimes, especially Windows 7 used to do this all the time. So you can see it's now extracting. There's about 203 megabytes worth of data. So we'll let that extract, and then we'll copy those files over to this new machine. So here are the two folders now. They've been extracted from the zip file. And I need to copy these back to the C drive. So we'll right click on them, copy, go to my C drive, go to my program files, go to Spiceworks, and they're going to be pasted right here. So we'll do a paste. Now, supposedly when this is done, I can start Spiceworks and my new database will be there waiting for me. I hope. Now, the other thing I'm going to need to do is Spiceworks, we mainly use it for the help desk ticketing features. But I'm going to need to go into my Microsoft Exchange server when all this is done and tell it to allow this, this IP address to send and receive email. Okay, so Spiceworks should be starting up now. We hope, we hope. Alright, well, we will let this run and we will come back. Alright, so it's up, so let's see if I can log in. And if, hopefully, fingers crossed, well, see if my help desk is there. And it appears my tickets are there. Ta-da! So that worked. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and log out. So we now have Spiceworks working, and we have Lansweeper working on the new virtual machine. And got all the data transferred over, and it looks like all of our tickets are still there. So now the next thing I want to do is come back over to this machine, and I'm actually going to go to Control Panel, and we're going to do an uninstall on Spiceworks here. Okay, so it will stop Spiceworks. They're always sorry to see you go. But, you know, that's the way it goes. You get a jockey stuff around. Now I'm going to explain to you why I'm going through all these steps here when I'm done. And I've come across a problem with this machine. And I think what I've decided to do is to retire this machine and to build a new machine for it. there's Morton chiming in. Okay, and I got rid of all the little other stuff for Spiceworks. So that's now deleted. It should not be on this machine anymore. And I should not see it under services. Let's just make sure. Nope, I don't see it anymore. Alright, now what we need to do is come back over to this machine and find out its IP address. I think it's 10.78. Find out here in a second. Yes, it's 10.78. So I need to go into my mail server now, and I need to tell it to allow email from this IP address. So I'm over on my Exchange server now, and I come up under Server Configuration, Hub Transport, and you have to create these receive connectors for Exchange in order for it to be able to accept email from even hosts within your network. It's a protection step. So if I double click here on Spiceworks, I will need to come in here under Network and edit this and change that to 10.0.0.78. Tell it OK. Apply that. Now let's just double check. Now that may take a few minutes, or it may even take an hour or so for it to update. So once that's done, I'm going to log off of the Exchange server. Don't need it no more. And we're actually going to try by sending an email to Help Desk and see if I get it. So let's open my email here, and I'm going to send a new email to helpdesk@pmimd.com. And we'll send it. Now what should happen is I should get a notification up here that that a help desk ticket has been, there it is. Okay, nope, that isn't it. That was from our webmaster. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my help desk machine. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I started it up again. And again, it maybe this won't come up. We'll see. I mean, this will come up, but it may be the help desk ticket may not come up because the Exchange server has to cycle. So let's see if I have any help desk tickets and unassigned tickets. And I don't. So it's going to take a few minutes for that server to start actually up. Actually, there it is. There's the help desk ticket. So I can go ahead and, if you look at it here, Joe fixes shit. I'll actually go ahead and assign it to myself. And then it should appear under my tickets. So it does work. It was able to send the email. Yay. Alright, so I have it installed. I verified it's up and running. I can send and receive email from it. Now what I want to do is log out of that virtual machine, because I'm hoping I don't need to leave an account logged in, that these all have been set up as a service. So once I log out of this virtual machine and just let it sit there and run, I should be able to come back to my desktop here. And now let's open Chrome and let's see if I can get into Lansweeper. Yep, that worked. That's working. And now let's see if I can do Spiceworks. And it appears I can. Let's make sure I can log in and get around. Okay, good deal. Come to my help desk. Let's view my tickets. It's pretty speedy. Yep, good. Works well. Alright, so there we go. We have success. And the next thing I'm going to move over to that machine is a program called Tonedo. But right now we're doing a bit, you can see right here we're during business hours, so I don't want to interrupt the use of Tonedo during business hours. Now let's discuss the reason why I'm having to do this. Let me switch over to the webcam. I have run into this problem with this machine, this PMI IT machine, is the unit that I use for, physical connection to their network, and it's my workstation to do with as I please. The problem has been, previously it was a Dell Optiplex machine, and then I switched to an i3 processor with an MSI motherboard. The problem is that the unit has an SSD drive as its boot drive, a Crucial MX300, and then it has a 4 terabyte spinning hard drive that I use for backups. The problem has always been anytime I tried to load Ease US Backup or use any of the other backup utilities that are out there, there's a couple other that come to mind that I've tried, the machine will lock up and it will impact the SSD drive. It will act like it's reading or writing data from the SSD drive, and you have to physically power off the machine and then power it back on. And then you have to remove Ease US to get stability back. Now I did notice on my SSD drive, in fact I'll take you with me on that. Let me take you over there. I did run this program right here, Storage Executive, and found that there was a firmware update that was needed on that SSD drive. So I did the firmware update, and now I'm debating whether or not to put that backup program back onto this machine. As you can see now, I'm at the latest firmware installed. The other thing I noticed is that this motherboard only supports serial ATA2. That I was thinking that could be the problem. So what I'm going to do now that I've moved these programs, these critical programs off there, is I'm going to load Ease US Backup again, and I'm going to try to see if it'll work. And if it doesn't, I'll call into the client, have them reboot the machine for me. But I want to try that next and see if we still have the same lockup problem where I lose the computer completely and am no longer able to connect to it. So let's just do that now. Let's go to the downloads folder. And where are you? Okay. So here's the to-do backup. So cross your fingers. I think I've got everything else. Should be good. This is the Intel HD graphics. Okay, cross your fingers, folks. I was able to do this earlier. I was able to install it, but whenever I tried to run the program, it would then lock up the system. So if this does not correct it, that firmware update, then what's going to happen is I'm going to build a system here with one of those AMD Athlon. I've got two of those boards, so I'm going to build one of those two boards with the AMD Athlon processor, and I'm going to take that to the client, and we're going to use that machine as my IT machine and as the backup machine. And I'll be doing a separate video on Ease US to do backup because I've found it a very good program. I like it quite a bit. very simple to use. So I'm also always leery about programs that don't make you reboot. I guess I'm old school. I'm used to when you install a program, you reboot, to make sure everything works fine and all your drivers get loaded. It's sometimes you tell people stuff that happens to you and they don't believe you. They go, well, you must have done something wrong. Well, of course something's wrong if it doesn't work, but there is very little data on this problem out on the web. I have searched high and low for it. Now you notice it didn't tell me that I needed to reboot at all. All right. So I want to just come out here and make sure that I have my backup drive available, and I do. And as you can see, here's a backup that I did yesterday. Today is the 3rd, and this is a backup I did yesterday. So now I'm going to try and launch the program, and we'll see if it throws me out or if it will actually do a backup now. Okay, we're going to tell it later. Alright, so I'm going to do a new task. I'm going to do a file backup. Now, by default, if you do a file backup, it selects all these items. I just click here twice and that deselects them. And then I'm able to go to the drive that I want to back up. For example, I'm going to choose Proctor. And I'm just going to accept where it tells me that it's going to back it up to the Proctor. And I'll just give it a name of Proctor Test. And I'm going to tell it to proceed. And then it should go ahead and run the backup. So I'm going to let this run, and we'll come back. Well, it says it's complete, maybe? There isn't much data out there on Proctor. It was completed. So if we double click on that, we see my images out there. It is. So this time we'll do the dev folder. That's got quite a bit of data in there, but actually we'll do PMI box right here. There we go. So it's going to back up PMI box and all this stuff in here. Tell it to proceed. And we'll let it run, and we'll come back if that completes successfully. All right, well, that one was successful. And we double click on it, and we'll see if the backup image is out there. It's done a full backup. Now let's just, for shits and giggles, let's right click on marketing, and I'm going to tell it to do an incremental backup of anything that's changed. And we'll see if that doesn't lock up the machine. Now, I'm going to be testing this throughout the weekend. I'll be especially testing it tonight because I'll be doing some full backups on these data drives, on these shares. So that will be the true test. And but so far, knock wood, it's doing better than it did before. And I'll be extra special happy if this continues to work and not lock up this machine, because it means I won't have to change out the equipment, which I don't want to have to do. I think you can click on the job while it's running. It really doesn't give you a lot of information. It even says that now it's updating. Before it would tell me there was no task running, so we'll just let this run. While that's running, I'll take you out to the backup drive, which is simply a 4 terabyte backup drive. So here's my PMI box. That was 2 gig. My Proctor was not very big at all. Marketing. So there's my initial backup and there's my incremental backup. So it looks like it all went well. And it should give me a log file here as to what I did last time. Yeah, it was an incremental backup when it was done. So it looks like it is working. I'm going to go ahead and close it. And I'm going to bring up my all my other stuff in Google Chrome. So there's my phone system, and then I can go to Lansweeper and log in there, which is now on another machine. And I should be able to come into Spiceworks, and I should be able to log into this. Go to my help desk. And there is everything there that I need. So it looks like we have success. So there you go. That's going to do it for this episode of A Day in the Life of an IT Guy. Just one of the many problems you can run into managing computers. Fortunately, I can do most of this remotely. And time will tell on that virtual or on that physical machine if Ease US continues to lock it up or not, but that's a pretty good indication. What I should do is reboot that machine. In fact, I think I'll do that now. Go ahead and shut down and restart that machine and then reconnect to it just to make sure everything is working well. And then I'll keep you updated as time goes on as to whether we've been successful on that or not. But it's just something that I wanted to share with everybody. No task is too hard to do. It's not too hard to move stuff around. I should have done this months ago, but you know, you get lazy as an IT guy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. So that's why I've chosen to do this today. Another reason was to show y'all some of the stuff I run into on a daily basis. So I hope you found the video entertaining and informative as always. Give us a thumbs up down below if you liked it. Leave your comments in the comments section, and we can certainly use some donations if you're so inclined. My next goal is to build maybe a Ryzen machine. I haven't decided yet. And then I've got some exciting video coming up on what I've done behind me here. As you can see, I've got the monitors now mounted to the wall, and I'm getting my my secondary desktop over there configured and up and running. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the other side.